Yes, good evening to you all members. Good evening to you all.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we can start. We can start. Uh, First 12 minutes. So we can start our lecture. So in the previous week, we saw how to post transactions to the ledgers. We saw how to post transactions to the ledgers. Today we are going to see how do we balance up the ledger accounts? How do we balance up the ledger accounts? That's what we are going to look at today in this session. How do we balance up the ledger accounts? Yes, you have done the posting to the respective ledger accounts, but then now we need to know how are we going to balance up these accounts after making the posting of the transactions to the respective ledger accounts. Hope I'm very clear and loud. Someone to confirm, then we'll start. Yes, am I clear, members?
Very clear, yes, sir.
All right. So this was the question which we attempted last time. We saw how to come up with an opening statement of affairs. That was part of the question. And I told you that when it comes to the statement of affairs, it's normally prepared to arrive at the opening capital. In case the opening capital of the business has not been given, then you can prepare what we call the statement of affairs to arrive at that opening capital. And I told you that with the statement of affairs, you get the assets at the start minus the liabilities at the start. Then you get that opening capital. Just from the accounting equation, which states that assets should always be equal to liabilities plus equity. So if the equity is not known, what you have to do is to simply get the assets at the start minus the liabilities at the start. So we saw how to do that. Then part B was we are given transactions during the month, and we are required to post the above transactions in the respective ledger accounts, something which we did. Then also we are required to extract a trial balance, but of course we are not looking at the trial balance. We just posted the transactions to respective ledgers. We are going to see how to balance those accounts and then come up with a trial balance. Now, Emmanuel, the coordinator, you're going to confirm whether we have all these accounts. So do we have the Motovan account already?
Yes, sir, we have the Motovan account.
Do we have the fixtures and fittings account already?
Not yet. Fixtures, not yet.
We don't have the fixtures and fittings account. Now, if you don't have that account, we are going to prepare it. Why? Because this business has been in operation and they are giving you some balances from the different accounts, meaning that there is a fixtures and fittings account and it had a balance of 12 millions. So we have to come up with that Yes, excuse me. So we need a fixtures and fittings account. We need to prepare that account because there is already a balance of 12 millions on the fixtures and fittings account. So we need to come up with that account. We need to prepare that account as well. If you don't have it, then we need to prepare it. So get a ruler, your pen, then we go and prepare that account. Let's prepare the fixtures and the fittings account because we also need that account. So let's prepare the fixtures and the fittings account. Members, we need that account. It should also be there. The fixtures and fittings account. You see, I'm trying to come up with my account, fixtures and fittings. Trying to come up with my fixtures and fittings accounts. So also prepare your fixtures and fittings accounts. Also prepare your fixtures and fittings accounts. Also prepare your fixtures, fittings. That's what I'm trying to prepare. Fixtures. Okay, that's my fixtures and fittings account, as you can see. Now what I have to do is to enter the details. Of course, at the start, that is 1st September 2012, there was a balance on that account. There is an opening balance. So we need to enter that opening balance. We need to enter that opening balance. How much is the opening balance? How much is that opening balance?
It's 12,000.
12,000. Fixed and fitting, that's an asset. So assets have a normal debit balance brought forward. 12,000. That is 12 million, but the 3 zeros are up. My level of rounding off is 1,000. So that is the fixtures and fittings account. We have to come up with one. That is your fixtures and fittings account. So prepare that. We need that account. It should also be part of the accounts which you have to come up with because there is already a balance for the fixtures and fittings. Okay, so we are confirming to see whether we have these accounts. Now, do we have the inventory account as well? The inventory account?
No.
We don't have the inventory account. So if you don't have the inventory account, then you should also prepare that account. You should also prepare that account, the inventory account. This account's already there. And of course, there are some balances. So we can prepare the inventory account as well. Then we enter its opening balance. So prepare the inventory account as well. Inventory account. Let's prepare that inventory account here. The inventory account. So this is our inventory account. That's our inventory account. So we need to enter that opening balance of inventory. We need to enter the opening balance of inventory. Let's do that. Inventory, these are assets to the business. So according to the rules of double entry, inventory also has a credit, a debit balance. Inventory has a normal debit balance, being that it's an asset. So we are going to debit that opening balance of inventory in this account. That is on 1st September 2012. We need to enter that opening balance. So balance brought forward. How much is the balance brought forward for inventory, Emmanuel?
It's 25,780.
25,780. That is the balance brought forward for inventory. 25,780. So prepare that account. Prepare that account. Prepare that account. Should also be part of the accounts you have come up with. Be part of the account we need. Okay, so you confirm under the trade payables, do we have accruals account? Do we have accruals account? Confirm whether that account we have it.
Akuru is there, yeah.
We have it. Then Regina.
Regina, yes.
Regina we have. Then other trade receivables. Lakery, do we have Lakery's account?
Yeah.
We have it. Then do we have Maido's account?
Maido is there, yeah.
Do we have Dodo's account?
Yes.
Dodo's account, we have it. Do we have Dodo's account?
Yes, we have.
We have it. Then Cash at Bank, we have that Cash at Bank account. Cash at Bank, we have it. Cash at Bank account, confirmed. We have it.
No.
You mean we don't have the bank account?
Bank account is there and the cash account is there.
Yes, we have the bank account as well as the cash.
The cash.
Okay, as well as the cash account, as well as the cash account. Okay, so we have all the accounts, but we determined our opening capital already. So we also need to come up with a capital account. We need to come up with a capital account. I don't think we have this already. Do we have the capital account? Do we have the capital account already?
No.
We don't have the capital account. So meaning that we still need to come up with a capital account. We still need to come up with a capital. Still need to come up with a capital account. Let's prepare that capital account. Let's prepare the capital account. Let's prepare the capital account. If we want to prepare the capital account, these accounts we are still pending. So we are preparing them. Then after we see how to balance the accounts one by one. So prepare a capital account. Prepare for account. That's what we are preparing. Capital account. Accounts. Now, capital, according to the rules of WLC, capital has a normal crediting balance. Capital has a normal crediting balance. So meaning that we have to put the balance brought forward. That is 1st September 2012. Our balance brought forward will be credited. How much was the capital? We determined that capital already. How much is that capital? How much is the capital? How much is the capital?
It's 900.
Up to 900? No, not really. So 900. That is not 900. Check well, check well. That was part A of the question. It's what we determined first. Check well. Capital, what we determined first. Members, how much is our opening capital? Check part A of the question. We prepare the statement of affairs and we arrived at the opening capital. How much is that capital? How much is that capital? Yes. Members, check your part A. How much is that opening capital?
7,220.
7,200 and what?
260.
260. Okay, thank you, Sise. That is your opening capital. We prepared the statement of affairs and we determined the opening capital of this business because it was missing. So we came up with 72,260,000 as the opening capital for that business. So members, we have all the accounts we need. We have all the accounts we need. So what do we have to do? We can balance the accounts. We can balance the accounts one by one. Now, when it comes to balancing accounts, we need to really understand what do they mean by balancing accounts, because it's an easy task, as we are going to see. So we need to understand really how do we balance off the accounts. Now, when it comes to balancing off an account, what do we do? We have to add both sides of the account. Remember, an account has a debit and a credit side. So we have to add both sides of the account to find out their totals. Of course, as you're finding out the totals for both sides of the account, you don't need to write anything in the account at this stage. So get your calculator, you add total up the debit side and the credit side, then you note those totals somewhere aside. Then you have to deduct the smaller total from the larger total to find the balance. Deduct the smaller total from the larger total to find the what? To find the balance. Now, you have to enter that balance on the side with the smallest total. So the moment you enter that balance on the side with the smallest total, it means that now the totals will be equal. Totals will be equal. So now you can enter the total, and these totals have to level with each other. The totals have to level with each other. So now you have to enter the balance on the line below the totals on the opposite side, the balance shown above the totals. Let us now start balancing. Let us start balancing, and then we'll see how to balance these accounts. We are going to start with the cash account. Everyone move to your cash account. We are starting with the cash account. We are starting with the cash account. Let us all go to the cash account. We balance it. We look at the cash balance. Which side is bigger? Is it the debit side or the credit side?
Credit side.
Which side is bigger?
Credit side.
Say, look at that account. Well, cash account. Which side is bigger, the debit side or the credit side?
Debit side.
The debit side is bigger. This is our cash account members. The debit side of the account is bigger. So meaning that at the end of the month, we have to balance off the cash account. So the balancing figure, we are going to insert the balance on the side with the smallest total, and the side with the smallest total, that is the credit side. So at the end, that is 30th September 2012. 30th September 2012. We come on the smaller side. We write balance carried forward. Balance carried forward. So how much do you think is the balancing figure in this account? How much do we have to insert here to make both sides equal? How much do we have to insert to make both sides equal?
$300,000.
That is 300. Thank you, Sanyu. That is 300. So we have to insert a balancing figure. We call that the balance carried forward. And that is what? That is 300. Now we can put the totals. We can put our totals. We can put the totals. Now the totals should be on the same level. Don't forget that. Totals should be on the same level. So now we have a 300 on either sides of the account. So we have inserted the balancing figure in the account, but I've told you that now we have to enter that balance on the line below the totals of the opposite side. So this balance carried forward, we have to enter it on the line below the totals of the opposite side, the balance shown above the total. So we have to come on the opposite side. Yes, please.
The total is 900. Then the 300 is the balancing figure.
Yes.
All right, sorry. So it's supposed to be 900. Thank you. So 900. So 1st October 2012. Now at the start of the next month, we say balance brought forward, which is 300. So that is your cash account, and we have balanced it. Now the balance above the totals is described as the balance carried down. This you can either call it balance carried down or balance carried forward. So that's the total above the totals. That balance above the totals. Then the balance shown below the total is described as the balance brought forward, and you see it's what we put on the opposite side. It's what we put on the opposite side. So that is how we balance accounts. That is now how we balance the account. So that is your account. It has been balanced. So now we move to the next account. I don't know if there is anyone who is stuck, but the cash account has been balanced. If you have a question, you can ask your question. That is our cash account balanced. Should we move on to the next account?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move to the next account. Let's go to purchases account. Let's look at the purchases account. Now the purchases account, which side is great? I will look at the purchases account. We have the purchases account members, which side is greater? We'll look at the purchases account.
The debit side.
The debit side is greater. The debit side is greater. So now we can balance it off. We can balance it off. So meaning that we have to insert a balancing figure on the smaller side. So on the credit side, there is nothing completely. This is your credit side. The balance carried forward. How much is the total on the debit? How much is the total on the debit? 3 what?
3660.
3660. So I'll put a 3660 as our total, but then it should also be the same balance on the opposite side because the credit side is smaller. Yeah. So I can now show my totals. Those are the totals. Totals should be on the same level. Don't forget that. Then on the opposite side, that is now at the start of the next month, that will be 1st October 2012. We say balance brought forward or brought down. Balance brought forward. How much is that balance brought forward? It will be 3660. So that is the purchases account. It has also been balanced. So the cash account has been balanced. The purchases account has also been balanced. Let's go to Bakuru's account. Let's move on to Bakuru's account. Bakuru. Let's move to Bakuru's account. Let's move to Bakuru's account. Members, are we all on Bakuru's account?
Yes.
Everyone should be on Bakuru's account. So which side is bigger? When we look at Bakuru's account, which side is bigger? Which side
They are
is
all the
bigger?
same.
Look at Bakuru's. They are all the same.
They are all the same.
Okay, meaning that
Yes.
this account has no balance. The account has no balance. So we call this a closed account. So there is no any balance to be carried into the next period. So we skip that. It's a closed account. It has no balance. The debit side equals to the crediting side. Rent account. Let's move to the rent account very, very fast. Let's move to the rent account.
Not attending lectures. Up on the one.
Let's move to the rent account. Let's move to the rent account. Which side is greater when it comes to the rent account?
It's a debit side.
The debit side is greater. So we have to insert the balancing figure on the smaller side. On the smaller side, and that is the credit side. So at the end of the month, that is 30th September, we shall balance off this account. So balance carried forward, or you can call it carried down depending on what you want to use, but the meaning is the same. That is 1,300. So you insert the balancing figure on the smaller side to make both sides equal. Your totals should be on the same level. Don't forget that. Totals should be on the same level. Totals should be on the same levels. Then on the opposite side of the smaller side, insert that balance and you use the date for the next, use the next date, the next day's date. So that will be 1st October 2012, because if I balance off on 30th September 2012, then the next day is 1st October 2012. It means that in that month, we have balance brought forward rent of 1,300. That is your rent account. We have balanced it off. We have balanced it. We have balanced it off. So now we can move to the next account to also balance it. That is your rent account balanced. Which other account can we look at? Let me take you to the bank account. Let me take you to the bank account. Members, let's look at the bank account. We are on the bank account. We are on the bank account. We are on the bank account. So get your calculators, try to do the addition and see which side is greater. Then we insert the balancing figure on the smaller side.
I think debit side is a bigger than the credit side.
The debit side is bigger than the credit side. Thank you. So we have to insert a balancing figure on the smaller side to make both sides equal. That is at the end of the month. So 30th September 2012. Balance carried forward. So get the total on the debit because your total needs the greater, it's the bigger total. Then minus all the amounts on the credit. Then you give me that balancing figure. Let's try to do that. Let's try to find out the balancing figure. Let's all find out the balancing figure. So how much is our balancing figure, members? Confirm how much do you have? When you get the totals on the debit minus totals on the credit, how much do you get as the balancing figure now? How much is the balancing figure? Emma, how much do you have?
I'm getting
How much?
The balance is
9,363.
9,363.
Okay, thank you. 9,363. That is the balance carried down. It's the balancing figure. So now what we have to do, we have to put the totals. I told that totals should be on the same level. So let's insert the totals. What's the total on the debit? What's the total of the
30,200.
debits?
30,200.
30,200. Okay, it's there. It's there. 30,200. Even here we should be having a 30,200. These are the totals, so I can double underline them. Then the balance brought forward is how much? 9,363. 9,363. So that's how we balance the accounts. That is the bank account. It has been balanced also. Rent account was balanced. So Nakuru was also balanced. The closed account. We can now go to Regina's account. When we look at Regina's account, what happened to the account? Which side is greater?
Regina's account is also a closed account, like that on Obakuru.
It's also a closed account, like that of Nakuru. So no balance. So we skip that. Let's move to the sales account. Members with the sales account, which side is greater? We look at the sales account.
Credit side.
The credit side is greater. The credit side is greater. Okay, so we have to insert a balancing figure on the smaller side at the end of the month. That is 30th September 2012. So balance carried forward. Balance carried forward. How much is the total?
8,760.
8,760. That's the total. So even here we should have 8,760. Even here we should have 8,760 as our balancing figure in the sales account. So I'll put the totals, 8,760. Totals should be on the same level. Don't forget that. Then on the opposite side, at the start of the next period, that is 1st October 2012, balance brought forward. Now, one thing which you have to observe here is that the balance brought forward is always on the side with a bigger total, or on the greater side. So where the greater side, that's where you insert the balance brought forward. I don't know if you realize that the bigger side always has the balance brought forward. And then the smaller side, that's where we insert the balance carried forward. Okay, so we move on to the next accounts. Maido, what happens to Maido's account? Which side is greater when it comes to Maido's account?
The debit side.
Debit side.
Yes, debit side is greater.
Debit side is greater. So meaning that the balancing figure has to be on the smaller side. And that is the credit. Maido is the customer, credit customer, business. So meaning that there is still a balance on Maido's account. Balance carried forward. How much is the balance on Maido's account? How much will be that balancing figure now with the account?
7,720.
The balancing figure. That's what we are interested in. The total is that, but now the balancing figure. The balance.
7,360.
Yes, that's the total. That's the total. But now the balance. Remember, on the credit there is a 300. So how much will be the balancing figure?
It's 4,000. Oh,
Not 66, not this is 360. Members, how
Sir.
much is the balancing figure? Yes, please.
The total is 7,720.
Okay. 7,720. Yeah, you're right.
And then now the balancing figure is 3,360. 7,360.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. So Sister, you're mute. Sister, there is that noise coming from the background. So on 1st October 2012, there is a balance brought forward for 7,360,000. Then which other account we have? Now this account has a debit balance. I'll explain more about the balances after this first balance. Which other account are we supposed to balance? Which other accounts do we have? Which other accounts do we have to balance? Mine is balanced. Luckily. What happened to Lucky's account? What happened to Lucky's account? Members?
It's a closed account.
The close account as well.
It's a closed account, so it has no balance. The debit side is equal to the credit side. So what we have to do next, we move to the next account. That is discount received account. We on the discount received account. We are on the discount received account. Discount received, which side is greater? Discount received, which side is greater?
which account? Which side?
The credit side is greater.
Debit side, a credit side.
Credit side is greater. So our balancing figure has to appear. The debit is an income account. The credit side is always greater for these accounts. So at the close, at the end of the month, 30th September 2012, balance carried forward. So how much is the balance carried forward? How much is the total?
443.
443. That's your total. So we can now show that the totals are the same on either sides of the account. Put the totals. That is 443. And then 443. Totals should be on the same level, don't forget. So being that now the credit side is bigger, still your balance brought forward will be on the opposite side at the start of the next month. Balance, roll forward. 443. That is the discount received account. That is the discount received in account. That's a credit balance. Let's move to the bad debts account. We are balancing off the bad debts account here. Bad debts, which side is greater? Bad debts.
Debit side.
Debit side is greater. So we start the balancing figure at the end of the month. Balance brought, balance carried forward. Balance carried forward. That is 300. Bad debts, this is an expense for the business. So you know expenses have a debit balance according to the rules. So we balance it off. Make sure that the totals are on the same level. Then first October 20 balance brought forward 300. That is your bad debts account, also balanced. That is the bad debts account. We have balanced it. Let's move to the motor vans account now. Motor vans account. What happened to the motor vans account? Which side is greater?
Debit side.
The debit side is greater. So we have to insert the balancing figure on the smaller side to make both sides equal. That is balance carrying forward. How much is that total?
19,000.
10,000.
That is 19,000. Thank you, Byron. That's 19,000. So now we show the totals. Totals should be on the same level. Totals should be on the same level. I'm going to share now another sample question for you people to try out. Share a question for you to try out. This 1st October 20 balance brought forward. That is 19,000. So the motor vans account is also balanced. It's also being balanced. It's also being balanced. So we move to the next account. Hope you're balancing those accounts. Balance the accounts, please. We are balancing one by one. We are balancing one by one. So we are moving to the next account. We are moving to the next account. That is the inventory account. Look at the inventory account. Of course, you'll see that the debit side is greater than the credit side. So meaning that I'll insert the balancing figure on the smaller side. So 38 September 2012. Balance carried forward. That is 25, 780. 580. Will be the same total. The sides are now equal. Totals should be on the same level. Then on the opposite side, should balance. Balance brought forward. That is the inventory account. That is your inventory account. Balance up. Balance up. So what next? What next? We move to the next account. We move to the next account. That is the capital account. Let's also balance off the capital account. Let's also balance off the capital account. Because you see the credit side is greater, so meaning that your balancing figure is going to be on the debit. That is 30th September 2012. Balance carried forward. That is 750 to 60. To 60. Balancing an account, to balance an account means making both sides of the account equal, and to do so, you have to insert a balancing figure on the smaller side to make both sides equal. You have to insert the balance carried forward, which is shown on the opposite side as a balance brought forward. So that is my capital account balanced. That is our capital account balanced. That is our capital account balanced. Then we move to the next account. Which other account do we have? This is capital account balanced. Let's try to look at the other accounts that we have not yet balanced. Let's look at the other accounts. Motor expenses account, is it balanced? Which side is greater on the motor expenses account? We are balanced the motor expenses account. Motor expenses, which side is greater?
Debit side is greater.
The debit side is greater. So details on the opposite side, that is balance carried forward. That is 260. That's 260. That's 260. That's 260 also. totals should be on the same level, don't forget. And the brought forward, of course, always comes on the greater side. Which is expenses account, also expenses account, also balanced. So now we move to the drawings account. What happened to the drawings account? Which side is bigger? Drawings account?
Debit side is bigger.
The debit side is bigger. So the balancing figure will be on the opposite side. Balance carry forward. That is 340. That's the balancing figure in that account. So to make the account, make both sides equal, I have to put the 340 on the smaller side. My totals should be on the same level. Don't forget that. Then the start of the next month. Balance. Okay, which is a 340 also. So that is the drawings account. That is the drawings account. That is the drawings. That is the drawings account. So what we have to do next, we move on to the next account, and that is the return inwards account. That is the return inwards account, and you see the debit side is greater. So meaning that I have to insert the balancing figure on the smaller side, which is the credit, make both sides of the account equal. What's the total? Return inwards. That is 680, right? That's a 680.
So you have wrote 680 instead of 680.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Karen. It's 680. That is 680. So we can now put the totals. 680. Those who missed the first coursework, I'm going to share now a different question for trial. And I think I could also share now your marks for the other first coursework. I should share the marks, and then you see how you perform. We shall do the corrections. On 1st October 2012, balance brought forward That is 680. That is 680. That is the balance. 4,680. That is the return inwards account. That is the return inwards account. So we need to move a different account now. Which account is that? That is the salaries account. This Harriet is very, very active today on YouTube. Harriet, salaries account. Now we move to the salaries account. As you can see, for the salaries account, the debit side is greater. So our balancing figure will be on the credit side. At the end of the month, balance carried forward. This is 1120. 1120. You insert the totals. Don't forget totals should be on the same level. Totals should be on the same. Balance brought forward. This is one. That is your salaries account balanced. That is your salaries account balanced. That is the salaries account balanced. Then we move to Dodo's account. We have two more accounts. Dodo's account, which side is greater? Dodo's account, which side is greater?
The credit side.
Dodo's account members, which side is greater?
Use a close account.
They are both equal.
They are both equal. So there is no any balance to find this account. Just put your totals, just put the totals. Just put the totals. Totals. Then fixtures and fittings. I think this is our last account. Fixtures and fittings. Which side is greater?
Debit side.
Debit side is greater. So the balancing figure should be. Today the number is too small. I don't know what has happened today. It has busy, I don't know.
No, network problems.
Network.
Network problems. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the good thing is that the lecture will always be there. So you can access it anytime. So the opposite side, that's October external balance. That is your fixtures and fittings accounts. Also balance off. So you see all the accounts are being balanced off. Is there any account that we have not balanced off? If you have any account that has not balanced, that has not been balanced, we have balanced off all the accounts. We have balanced off all the accounts. All the accounts are being balanced off. So now we are going to prepare what we call a trial balance. That was Roman 1 of part B of the question. Roman 2 of the question is extract a trial balance as at 30th September 2012. So what is a trial balance? What is a trial balance? Emmanuel, Caleb, what is a trial balance? You say, what's a trial balance?
Let me try.
Yes, Pastor.
A trial balance is a list of balances from general ledger accounts.
A list of balances from general ledger. From the general ledger accounts. Okay. A list of balances from the general ledger, accounts at a specific point in time, of course. Now, our point in time is at 30th September 2012. So we are going to come up with a trial balance, and it's going to list all the balances of the company's general ledger accounts with their balances. So you've seen the exercise, the process, whereby you have to open up the ledger accounts, to post the transactions. At the end of the accounting period, you balance up all those ledger accounts. Then you're going to list their balances in the trial balance. That is the appropriate columns, debit or credit. We have to sum up the total of the trial balance, and also those will be the same. The totals of the debit column should be the same as the totals on the credit column. So let's do that. Let's do that. So you're going to open up the trial balance. You're going to open up the trial balance. Share it screen. I want you to have a look at this. This might also trade receivable, so just specify exactly trade receivable. So write the heading that is Kabate's trial balance as at 30th September. That is at the end of the month. You have to show the account, so then the column for the account, then the debit column, and then the credit column. So put that down, then you will start entering the balances. Put that down, then you start entering the balances. So we are going to extract a trial balance. Now, we are going to extract a trial balance. We are extracting a trial balance. So look at your bank account. Let me take you to the bank account and you see this is our bank account. That is your bank account. The bank account has a debit balance. Okay, Harriet, thank you so much for the contribution on YouTube. Harriet, today you're very, very active. The network is good, I think, today, Harriet. Okay, bank account. Now, the bank account, as you can see, it has a debit balance of 9,363,000. So what do? We take that balance on the debit column of the trial balance. We take that balance on the debit column of the trial balance. So bank, the balance is how much? 9,363,000. So it's there. That is your bank balance. So the debit. On the debit. How much is the rent account balance? Rent is how much? How much the rent account balance? It should also be a debit balance because it's an expense. Rent was how much? Check your rent account members. Rent account.
1,300.
1,300. Okay. Then the purchases. How much is the balance for the purchases? Those are the balances brought forward. So the balances I'm looking at, the balance brought forward after balance the account. Purchases, debit balance, 3,660,000. Then the motor expenses. Motor expenses. Motor expenses. I'm not seeing the motor expenses account numbers. How much?
260 is 260.
Account?
260.
Yeah, 260 on the debit. Then other trade receivables, we have Mido. How much was Mido's balance? $7,360,000. The debit. Then the drawings. $340,000 debit. The sales. $876 credit. Inventory, it's a debt. Inventory, it's Alicia, the noise in the background. So inventory. $5,780 debits. Cash balance was how much? Cash. How much is the balance from the cash account? Cash account, cash account. That is a 300 cash debit. Fixtures and fittings. Debit balance. Return inwards. Debit balance. $680. Discount received, it's a credit balance. Discount received, it's a credit balance. Capital, credit also. Motor vans and asset, debit balance. Motor van. Where is the motor vans account? 19, debit. Salaries and expense. Salaries of 1,120. Bad debts. Those are expenses. 300. So that's your trial balance. That's your trial balance. Now you're going to sum up. You give me the figures you have on your debit and credit, and then we'll see. Harriet, get your figures. You want to hear the figures you have. So Jane, get the figures also. Okay, let's get those figures. Sum up and get the totals, debit and credit. Let's get the totals. Waiting for your totals. Waiting for your totals, members. Please get the totals, get the totals. Those on YouTube, if you have the totals, please, you can tell us the totals. Harriet, what are your totals? Totals, totals, totals. Emma, what totals do you have on the debits? Yes, I can just add and get the totals here, but I want to get the totals. I'm going to use the totals you have. I'm waiting for your totals. I want to see the totals you have. someone can add the credit totals, because on credits you see we just have 3 figures on the credit. So credit, what do we have?
I have
Credit,
mine,
we
it
have
is 81.
81
Credit.
463. Credit, yeah.
You have 81.
463.
81 463. Okay, now members
Then-
confirm if that's the
Debit side also I have 81 463.
81 463. This is perfect. 81 463.
463 debit.
So members, that is your trial balance. That is your trial balance. Harriet, debit side you have 81 163. I think you're missing out 100 somewhere. It is you're missing out at 300. It is 81 463. I think you're missing out the 300 for the bad debts, Harriet. You can include it. I see there is a 300 missing. Harriet, you can try to check well and see. So that is your trial balance, members. That's the trial balance.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, I have a question. Khaled, yes, you can ask. Yes, ask the question.
To trial balance. Do you post on reverse? What do you exactly post to the trial balance?
I beg your pardon.
What do we exactly post to the trial balance?
What do you take to the trial balance? In the trial balance,
Yes, sir.
you take the ledger accounts with their balances. But if the ledger account has no balance, if the account is closed, then you don't enter that in the trial balance. For example, you'll see there are some accounts which we have not considered. Accounts like Dodo, accounts like Lakeri, accounts like accounts like which other account? Regina, Regina and Liverpool, Lakeri, because all those accounts have no balances. So I would not take them to the trial balance. The trial balance, I take the ledger account with its balance. Now, which balance are we interested in? In the balances after balancing that account. These balances brought forward. Okay, these are debit balances, so you take them to the debit. Or these are debit balances, take them to the debit. These rent, debit balance of 1,300, bank, their balances brought forward. When you look at the sales, the balance is on the credit. That's why we have inserted the sales account balance on the credit. When you look at discount received, it's an income. The balance is on the credit, column of the trial balance. Same with capital credit. So we take the balances, we take the account with their balances, the trial balance. If the account has no balance, then we don't enter it in the trial balance currently. Hope I've answered you. So that is your trial balance.
Yeah, thanks, sir. I've got it.
The totals have to be the same as we can see. So if the totals are the same, then of course, this will prove that there are no errors so far. But of course, you know, sometimes the trial balance can balance when there are some errors. But in this case, there are no errors. We are managed to make sure that each debit has a corresponding credit. If they are not matching, of course, now you have to do some investigations and try to find out why the totals don't match. But our totals, you see, they are matching. What are some of the importances of this trial balance? We can use it to detect errors. So if there was any error, then the trial balance will help us identify that error. So there it will be a signal that there is a problem that has to be addressed. We have to go back and then try to check the postings in each and every account. So it helps us to detect errors. Then number two, the trial balance enables us to prepare now financial statements. If the trial balance has been prepared and it's balanced, then now we can go ahead and come up with our financial statements. That is the income statement and then the balance sheet. Then still this trial balance, you see, it verifies the accuracy of the company's financial records. So when you come up with the trial balance and it's balanced, then that will show that we are accurate and our records are reliable. Unless there is a question, I would like to stop here, but I'm going to get something for you to try out about the same thing, posting transactions ledgers, and then balancing them off, then extracting the trial balance. We are going to get a sample question for everyone to try out to see. Okay. So we are stopping here.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for watching. Yes, Emma, you have.
And what might be the reasons where sometimes you can see the trial balancing and when there are errors?
Oh,
because you said you said sometimes the trial balance will balance when there are errors somewhere, maybe in the ledgers or where.
You're asking for
what will make it to balance when there is a problem somewhere there?
Okay, it's balancing, but there is an error. That's your question.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the trial balance, there will be some errors that may not be detected by the trial balance. For example, there can be what we call an error of omission. You know, an error of omission, a transaction being completely omitted from your records. So when you omit the transaction, it means that the trial balance will balance, but there is something missing. So if you omit a transaction, then it will mean that the trial balance can still balance. For example, assuming, let me take you back one of the transactions. Explain this. Assuming I don't record the last transaction, Emma, that is the transaction on 30th. Assuming we don't record that transaction, the trial balance will still balance, Emma, if I don't record that last transaction. So that is known as an error of omission, whereby you completely omit the transaction from your records. The trial balance will still balance. So that error cannot be revealed by the trial balance, Emma. Then the other error which cannot be revealed by the trial balance, which other error? That was commission. Then there is what we call an error of principle. We have what we call an error of principle, Emma. When it comes to error of principle, you will see that you're recording an item, but in the wrong class of account. Yes, you're going to complete your double entry. There will be a debit and a credit entry, but you're doing that in a wrong class of accounts. Assuming, for example, here, this very transaction, bought another motor van, paid by check. Bought another motor van, paying by check. I'm supposed to debit the motor van's account, but I can debit the expenses account and then credit my bank. So you see, instead of debiting motor fund, I'm debiting the expenses account. The trial balance will still balance. The trial balance will still and many other errors. Of course, we have different errors. There's omission, as I've told you. There's principal. You will find what we call errors of commission, compensating errors. All those errors can be made, but your trial balance will still balance. Okay. And of course, still there will be those errors that the trial balance can reveal. And if those errors are made, your trial balance will not balance. For example, you debit, but with no corresponding what? You debit, but with no corresponding credit. The trial balance will not balance. Mistakes in addition, the trial balance will not balance still. Okay.
Again, there is double errors. Double
errors.
Still, yes, if it has an equal amounts, it can still balance the trial balance.
Exactly. That we call that compensating errors. We call that compensating errors. So those are the errors. Some of the errors. Of course, we'll look at the notes. That topic is there, but we shall look at that maybe later. We'll look at that later. So that is our lecture for today.